thing that's easy about these things is that you can't, all you do is say the truth.
Well, I mean, but I think
difficult?
the thing is, there's a lot of people that don't, right?
Right.
I think conversations with people is great, right? But
Yeah.
you need to be open. And sometimes people don't really want to be fully open and have that, just honest conversation.
Right. Well, that makes things complicated, and I'm too damn old to make things complicated. You ask me a question, I'll answer it, baby.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Raymond J. Barry, the star of a new up and coming film, right? You have
Byrd.
Byrd, right? So you've had an incredible career so far, and you don't seem to be slowing down, right? What's keeping you going, right?
When I'm not acting, I paint or write. I'm writing a novel now. I've written an anthology of plays. The point being, I keep myself very busy. I'm not waiting by the phone for somebody to give me a call. Sort of smoking a joint and getting stoned all day. I'm busy. You know what I mean? And then somebody will call and I'll do a film and I enjoy it. I'm not all uptight and nervous. I learn my words. I say them accurately. Thank God I have a good memory. I did all that theater, so with theater, if you do a play, you're doing literature. So you have to say the words accurately. By the time I came out here, I had done 23 years in New York City doing all stage. And I was so used to learning the words accurately and being on stage for 2 hours, reciting, dialogue or monologue, that when I came and did movies, I realized that this is like a cakewalk. The scene is like 2 minutes long and you shoot it 15 times and they select the best version. And, it's like, what is this, But I say the words accurately and directors and writers appreciate it. I've worked on film where guys don't know the words and they're paraphrasing. And the words change all the time. So you have to stay on your toes. And meantime, I'm trying to stick by the script. And, the directors actually appreciate that. And writers particularly.
Oh, I'd imagine. That must be super just annoying. You've learned your lines and the person you're reading with just can't. So
in some cases, that's true. I won't mention any names, but I know a guy who's actually a movie star with whom I worked. And he never gave the same line. Every take was different. The words were different. So it meant that I had to stay on my toes. And I was accurate with the words, but it was what it was. It was no big deal to me. I did my thing,
Yeah. Well, you've been a mainstay of TV, movies, the theater. What for you has been the most enjoyable?
The most enjoyable thing I would say was writing my own plays and doing parts which I wanted to do. Like, for example, I wrote a play called Once in Doubt. I did 400 performances of it all over the country. New York, Portland, Oregon, every state, I did it for years. I played an artist. And nobody will cast me as an artist in movies. They cast me as a heavy or some kind of evil dude or a cop or, you know, a bereaved father.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll play those roles. But I wanted to play an artist because I am an artist. I paint.
Mm.
I've been painting since I was 23 years old. That's 50 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of pain.
And I'm serious about it too. I had a show about maybe 6 months ago right here in Los Angeles.
Are they your pieces behind you?
Say what?
Are they your pieces behind you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, actually. Yeah, I'll show you, man. You see those
Yeah,
pieces there?
vibrant, man. That's some nice looking stuff.
Yeah, it's sophisticated work. It's real, you know. I'm
Yeah, no, it's
serious
nice.
about it, And also, you see over there, a sculpture in the corner there. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a wooden sculpture which I carved. It's 6 feet high. I carved that mother myself.
How long did that take you?
God knows. I would say over a year.
Oh man,
I had a storefront in New York at that time. I was sleeping on a mattress on a storefront. I rented it for $48 a month. And I brought these logs in from upstate New York and I carved them up and made them into sculptures. And there's another one over here. I wonder if I can show it to you.
All right,
Let's see. Oh, shit. I think I screwed up.
Oh, what have you done?
Huh?
What's happened, Ray?
I screwed up. Hey, Manon. Yeah. Would you help me here?
Yep. No, I didn't need to press.
Oh, you just click?
Do you see the Zoom symbol right here? You click that.
Oh, you're smart. This is my little girl.
Thank you.
She got us back together again. I got 4 kids. That one is
that must
12.
keep you on your toes.
She's 12. I got a 47-year-old, a 27-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Huh. All the seasons.
I'm still shooting
right
bullets, baby.
Oh, well, yeah, four must be enough to keep you occupied, I'd say.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. Wait for 1 second, okay?
Okay, man.
Look.
Oh.
I carved that baby.
Damn.
You see that hand?
Yeah, that's impressive.
I carved that out of wood.
That is, yeah, that's nice, man.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah. Like I've got a friend, his name's Chris Cooper, and he started doing like wood sculptures and woodwork just a few years ago. And I think from what he started to what he's doing now, it's incredible. He's doing some great work.
Yeah, it's a great medium.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it right now. I'm just painting.
Okay.
That's all right.
How long do you stay in the studio?
Say what?
How long do you kind of give yourself in the studio to do this stuff?
I paint every day for 8 hours.
Nice.
And particularly now.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic has put a cramp on the work, I do have a movie opening I got 2 movies opening. Isn't that too much? I'm 82 years old. I got 2 movies opening. Huh?
Hey,
I
this
feel like
always
a
works.
dirty old man.
Hey, it seems to keep you young, so keep
Yeah.
doing it, man.
Yeah, I got one movie called Free Bird coming out.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the movie. That's why we're interviewing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's one. And the other is called Filthy Animals.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
that's in the near future. Whatever, life goes on. When I first started being in movies, I thought, oh boy, wowee. And now I've done God knows how many dozens of films, maybe, I don't know, 70 films or something like that.
It's a lot.
And
It's a
it
lot.
feels like, okay, it's cool, but it's not the end all of everything. You know what is? Love.
Ah, that's what I
Period.
hear, Ray. That's what I hear.
Love. That's the big one. I've been married 31 years to the same woman,
Impressive.
and I love it. It's so incredible. It goes through transformation and transition, and it's one thing, and then it goes into another form of understanding. And in terms of wanting to live, it's very significant to love someone. And if you have kids, man, you love the kids. And it's like, it gives you a reason. What do you think? I want to live to make more movies? Bullshit. You know what I mean? I want to live for my kids, and my wife.
How did you meet your wife?
Say what?
How did you meet your wife, Ray?
Oh, we were in an acting class together.
Uh-huh. Oh,
In
so did
Los
you ask her to
Angeles.
run lines with you?
Well, she was very attractive and very talented, and I was me, and I was fresh in Los Angeles, and I just wanted to be around actors, so I took a class with a man named Ken McMillan, who has died decades ago, and I just wanted to be acting. I wanted to have my hand in it, because I didn't know what to expect when I came out here. And it turned out pretty good,
Just a little. Just okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're in London now?
Yeah, man.
Gosh. Well, what do you do for money?
Well, during this pandemic, not a lot.
I hear that.
It's kind of, the kibosh on a lot of things I was doing. But, normally I'm marketing and communications.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked London when I performed there. There was a guy named Frank Rodham, he directed a movie that I did called K2.
Oh gosh, yes.
And we shot it in Canada and in the snow, and we lived in tents. And Frank is from London. And, he put the whole project together. I mean, in terms of storytelling, it's kind of simplistic. They're going to get to the top of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the story, right? So it's like, okay, hurry up.
But it's all about the journey, Ray.
It's mostly a movie about scenery. It was magnificent scenery.
Yeah, I've seen that film.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, like
I play Clybourne. I'm in charge of the entire party. I'm the boss, you know. Whatever, no big deal. we trotted through snow for I don't know how many weeks, maybe 4 weeks. But Frank is from London, you know. I I I like London. I like the British. I do. I think about it. The literature, my God, the literature, I mean, my goodness, impressive stuff. Shakespeare.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how these things have kind of evolved and changed, right? Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, there was just a few writers that people took note of, right? And right now, there's people from all over the world that you can pick up their books and you can, look at their visions and their work and enjoy it. It's kind of, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how things have developed and changed and the different forms of language and all of that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Well,
interesting.
there was a time when England controlled half the world.
Yeah. Yes.
That was a long time ago. What was that statement? The sun never sets on English shores, right? That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Empires never last. I think that's what we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cause a lot of a lot of issues along the way.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, the United States has the same issues. Colonization, the whole 9 yards. We have the same issues.
But it's kind of like we had to have gone through it because like the world just wouldn't be what it is today without all of that craziness.
Yes.
Because it moved people around the globe. It took different resources. Like no one would know what tea was. You might not have known what, because some countries had ice, they stayed within themselves for years.
Yes.
So it's just like this kind of all these wars and craziness, it opened the world up, right?
Yes,
so
that's quite true.
Yeah, there's the downside to it all, but then there's also what it kind of brought to everyone.
Yes. In the case of the United States, unfortunately, we went through a period where we had slavery.
I mean, everyone had slavery, though.
Well, in our case, we're still suffering from the results of that. There's a racism in our country. And it's we're going through upheaval even now, about these issues.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's very, very poisonous, the racial conflict that we have to solve it. And I think some people are trying. The media is using, like in film and television, there are many more Black people, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's opened up dramatically.
Opened up, exactly.
I remember, like, just think, right? Back in it was the late 90s, right? Friends.
Yes.
Friends hit TV. One of the most popular shows on TV. Set in New York. Set in New York.
Yes.
But not really any diversity on the show, which was insane, right? And it's a crazy thing. You used to watch shows like that, which were in these melting pots of society, but you were only ever shown one aspect of it. So now the way things have changed, it's definitely improved. There's a long way to go, but it's human nature to hold people back. So it's never going to be perfect. Right. And I think the only thing that you can hopefully do is move the barriers. That's it. Move the
Yeah.
barriers so then everyone's got the opportunity for stuff. They might not get it, but if as long as the opportunity is there, that will be, I think that will be something. And it's going in the right direction. It's not
I
perfect.
believe that. Yes,
But,
I believe that.
But
Yes.
like, how do you feel about award shows, Ray?
About what kind of a show?
Like award shows, because there's all this stuff about the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and diversity.
Oh, award shows.
Yeah.
How do I feel about them? I don't feel anything about them. Anybody who wins an Oscar and stuff, I congratulate them. I've even gone to a couple of, I've won a few of those, not an Oscar, but I won a Lifetime Achievement Award one time. And there were a lot of people there, and I had to get up on the stage and, say a few words and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what I feel about them. I certainly, I feel apathetic to them. They've been around forever. The Oscars every year. Anything I say or do is not going to obliterate them. I don't hate them. I congratulate. Look, it's tough being an actor. Anybody who wins a highfalutin award, I give them a pat on the back. It gives them a little bit of self-satisfaction, a little bit of notoriety. In some cases, you win an Oscar, you go down in history for something, whatever. I have no animosity toward that whole thing. I'm fine with it. Live and let live, baby.
Well, yeah, it's a funny system because you see people complaining about them and going, oh, these things need to change. These things need to do this. But I'm just a bit like, they've been around all this time. It's not going to change to your liking. So you either don't think about it or create something new. Right? Because I think if everyone got together, created a system, introduced a way for people to select who they think is the best this year and what and all of that business,
yeah,
then that can solve things. And then you can still have the Oscars and it's just another show. You bring something else in, but it doesn't have to be the be all or end all,
I don't care. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I could care less about the Oscars. Give me a break. I got kids I got to raise. I got things that are important in my life. I've done theater that has been political. I've worked in prisons directing theater workshops. I know the terrain of delving into areas of theater that matter. So the friggin' Oscars, well, I don't care about those. That's the truth.
Well, I think, there's ways in which you can tell people enjoyed your work. There's more ways in which now. I think you can be in contact with people a whole lot more. So these things, I think it loses its hold to an extent because, like if you can go online, right, you could probably go onto Instagram and talk to thousands of people and, they've all enjoyed your work. Right. So you don't need to go to a ceremony, let's say like once a year to find out, oh, do people like what I'm doing? Because you can see that. You can see the impact you've had more.
Yes. And I'll tell you something, man. I've been doing it so long that I'm really pretty relaxed with it. I've been doing it for 60 years.
That is such a long
It's
time.
true. It's kind of comical. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it's fun.
Mm.
It's kind of fun. It beats working, I'll tell you that.
So, like,
It beats working.
right after doing it for that many years, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now, what's a project got to do to kind of make you go, all right, I'll go do that? Right? What are you looking for? If I'm going to send some scripts over to you right now, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pass over, you know what I mean, all my stuff and be like, right, read all my work. No, but if you were going to read some scripts right now, what kind of things are you looking for?
I read the scripts knowing I will do anything. I am a whore. I occasionally will be confronted with a character whom I adore.
Mhm.
But it's not up to me what is presented. People will offer me this or that, you know, but and once in a while, I'll tell you about a movie, one of my favorite movies that
Okay.
I did. It was a movie called Interview with the Assassin.
Hmm.
And it was made by a man named Neil Berger. He
Yeah,
wrote it
yeah.
and he directed it. And it's about the alleged second gunman who shot President Kennedy. And I played him.
Mhm.
And it's the leading role in the movie. I love that character. Now, I don't want to shoot presidents. I don't want to run around hurting people. But I loved getting into the mentality, and I have a proclivity toward this type of character.
Mhm.
I know how to do that type of person. And I had fun. And I'm very proud of the finished product. You know,
Yeah.
there is another a scene in Born on the 4th of July when Tom Cruise comes home paralyzed. I play the father and I break down in tears and can barely speak. And I am very proud of that scene because of the vulnerability of it, the fragility that was involved. And I did it over and over and over for 2 hours. I did it. He
Really?
took many, many takes. And he came up to, Oliver Stone came up to me afterwards and said to me, that was quite brilliant. And I'll never forget it. I was so proud of my work and I still feel that way.
I mean, it's a
Now,
sensational film.
oh yes, it has a message that we all understand.
Mm.
And my goodness, can you imagine your own child coming back from a war paralyzed from the waist down? What kind of horror is that? What kind of indictment for a young man? My goodness. And yet it happens over and over again.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's the thing about the film, like, because, you know, that's Vietnam. It was Vietnam, right?
yes.
Yeah. So, you know, it doesn't matter what war it is, it still will always relate. You know, it's one of those stories that hold up, you
Oh,
know,
yes.
throughout the years.
Absolutely. Yes. It's one of those universal messages that happens to be contingent upon politics and, you know, what countries do to each other.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Having said all of this, most of the stuff I have done, I don't even remember what I did. But as I said before, it beats working. I always have an intense, fun time of it when I work, you know. And here's another thing. There was a 30-year period in my career where I wrote my own plays. I'm not doing it right now, but at some juncture, I became aware of the fact that I wasn't satisfied with the characters that were being offered to me, because very often they were sort of evil people, whatever.
Yeah.
I began to write plays for myself, and I had them all produced, and I did them all over the country. And, you know, like I do 400 performances of Once in Doubt in which I played an artist. The point being that I took the bull by the horns and wrote my own characters. And, you know, then a movie would come up. Sometimes the movie would come up because they saw me in one of my own plays, you know, but that strengthened my chops and also gave me a choice about what kind of character. I did one character who was a transvestite. I was curious.
Yeah.
I wanted to play I wanted to parade around in a dress in a play, which I did for 2 hours. And it was cool.
I mean, if you did it right now, someone would complain. They'd stop you from doing that right now, which is, yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah, somebody complained because it was politically incorrect, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, actually. Actually, it was about male violence, and the guy had punched his wife, and she died. And as soon as he started walking around the house in her dresses, and because he put the dress on, he could talk to her.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I mean? And he would talk out loud to his dead wife, whom he killed.
I mean, that makes sense, though.
Oh, yes. It was actually a dark play. And it was, there was something about it that was, it got great reviews. And I loved walking around the house in a dress. Because usually, you know, people relate to me like I'm some kind of macho guy, right? I love to challenge that.
Well, I think that's acting, right? I think that's the key thing with a lot of stuff. You have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. If you keep on doing the thing that you're used to, you become blunt, right? So you need to sharpen that sword.
It's interesting that you point that out, because you're assuming that I was uncomfortable wearing a dress. Actually, I was quite comfortable. Maybe I moved into my comfort zone instead of out of it.
Well, it's probably not as restrictive as a shirt and trousers, right?
You know what it reminds me of? When I was first acting in college, I was a football player at Brown University.
Wait, when you say football, are we talking this, you know, bastardization of the true sport?
Exactly.
Yeah. Where you're throwing a ball.
American football. So I go into, some professor comes up to me and says, "You want to be in a play? We're doing William Inge's play called Picnic, and there's a character in it for a football player." And I said, "I don't do that." And he said, "Well, come to my class." So I go to the class, and I liked the class, and I did the play, and I was awful in it. But when I'm doing a play, all the football players are sitting in the back row laughing their asses off, because I was actually a decent football player, you know what I mean? And here I am trying to act. And they thought it was so funny, you know. They're looking at, you know, that type of thing. That was the beginning of my journey, right? Whatever. I
It's
didn't
like
care. I was genuinely interested in it.
mm,
You know, I had a mother who, oh, I'll tell you something cool.
okay.
My mother was a painter, a published writer. When she was 61 years old, she wrote me a beautiful letter. And I was writing my own play and called Blue Heaven. And the letter she wrote to me would fit perfectly into the play. So I invited her to sit on stage and read the letter while the
nice.
play is going on. She's 61 years old at that time. Not only did she do it, she memorized the letter and performed the letter. After which I directed her in 2 more plays. After which I got her an agent, Jerry Kahn, in New York. She did 20 movies, small parts, soap operas, commercials. She acted from age 61 to age 88.
Whew.
And she died when she was 94. And when she first went on stage, one night she came backstage and she said, "Oh, Raymond, I was so nervous on stage, but I loved it. I would have done this when I was 20 had I known." That was
How
my
great
mother.
is that? You
Isn't
know,
that too much, huh?
oh man, but like hearing things like that is great because you realize it's not too late to try stuff.
Yeah, I have a whole chapter. I just published a memoir. First it was on Amazon, but now I have a publisher for it.
Okay.
And it's the name of the memoir is Never a Viable Alternative. Never a Viable Alternative.
Okay. And this is
And it's
available
on
everywhere?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's
Is there
on
an audio book version of it, Ray?
No.
Oh, Ray, you
Not-
need to do that and read it yourself.
I hear you. I haven't gotten to that point, but now another publisher has picked up on it and he's going to publish it. But there's a chapter in the memoir about her influence on me
Mm-hmm.
because there was a very strong influence, and she respected the arts, all forms of art. And I grew up in that environment. I was an athlete. I was kind of a jock, but I always was very close to my mother. And you know, her priority for art, self-expression, somehow made an imprint, as opposed to my father, who was, you know, he went to work. There's nothing more to say about it. It's like a dull life, right? Blue collar type stuff, you know, and too much drinking and, you know, the whole 9 yards, you know, not a very fulfilled existence. But, you know, I became an actor because I preferred my mother's life to my father's life. You know, she was happy. He wasn't, you know. It's really kind of interesting. And she lived to 94. He died when he was 71.
Well, they always say that, don't they? If you are happy, it's gonna extend you. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to do what you want to do with your life. And you can't chicken out. You can't say to yourself, oh, I'm afraid, or be afraid. It's okay to be afraid, but do it anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's the thing, right? Because listen, what's the worst that can happen in situations, right? I remember the first time I did stand up, right?
You do stand up?
I'm trying, right? Trying to get
Wow.
stage time is a nightmare, right?
Oh,
You feel so like
vulnerable.
well, no, it's like listening to like American comics talk, and the fact that there seems to be more clubs where you can just go and do, but here it's basically all bringer shows, right? So you
Right.
need to convince your friends to come to these places, and when
Oh,
they're
wow.
midweek and people are working, it's like, I don't want to go out on a Tuesday night. I've got
Oh,
work.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean? So it's just like,
Yes.
come, listen to me. You know, you tell some jokes, and they're like, ugh, I've got work,
Oh,
I'm tired. And you're like, come on, please come.
oh
So
God, that
it's
sounds,
interesting. But I went up, and it's funny because I was in the queue and I'm talking to this guy behind me, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm the funniest dude. Everyone tells me I'm funny. Yeah, it's great. And we went one week and we didn't get through. And then the next week we both got on, and he went before me, and it did not go well. I felt so bad for him. Like his
oh,
jokes just weren't working, and he kind of came off the stage early, and I never saw him again. But I went up, and I was just a bit like, I didn't have anything written down, right? I just
right.
had a few kernels of stories that I thought, oh, this could work, right? And so
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah,
what's the
yeah.
worst that could happen? And I went up and I did the stuff, and it, hey, I got some laughs, man. And it
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but it's the exhilaration of it all, right? The
Yes.
buzz that you feel from being there. And every time I've done it since, it's just that buzz, right? That you just
Oh,
be like, oh, you just feel energized. And once you finish,
yes.
you're just like, I want to do it again. Like, I
Yes,
need to do
yes.
it again.
You know, what you're describing strikes me as the most frightening aspect of performing, to get up by yourself and expect people to respond to your jokes. My God, what courage that takes, or insanity. You know, I could never do that.
No, see, but the thing is, right? You say you can't do that, but you stood in front of Oliver Stone and delivered some raw ass performance time and time again. So I think
Yeah.
when you have to, you can do it, you know?
If my life depended upon it, perhaps. But geez, what a choice. And also comedians in the beginning of their career, they don't even make any money.
No, I mean, that's a funny thing, because when you're standing outside clubs waiting to go in, you talk to
Oh,
like all these different people, and some people you'd be like, how long have you been doing this? They're like, oh, for 30 years. And it's just like, whoa, okay. So
oh,
you've been coming to like these bringer shows for 30. That's, man, that's
right.
tough, right? But the fact that they keep on doing it is,
You
there's
got,
something to that.
yes, you have to respect that.
Yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, whether they make it and become big or not, the fact
Yes.
that someone will brush themselves off, go back up there,
Oh
is like,
boy.
you know what I mean? Like, like specific, you sit in the audience and you watch some people bomb, right? You watch them bomb, but to have
Yeah.
the balls to stand up and do it, you
Wow.
can't knock it. You can't go, you are rubbish. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, hey, they did more than what most people will do, you know?
Yeah. Gosh. You know, I see a bottle of champagne in back of you.
Yeah. Yeah, there was I thought I was going to, there was one time, and I was speaking to a young lady, and I thought, like, to date, like, we planned this date and all of this, and then I got blown out. And so I was just like, all right, I'll just drink it myself sometime. So
Got it.
once the world opens up again, I think I'll crack it open, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Ray, what kind of, how do you get into a role, right? Because like the vast, like, variety of some of the stuff that you've done is ridiculous, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. So how do you get into these characters, like free Byrd?
Yeah.
You're this guy, and you're getting transported to a new home. Like,
Yeah.
what's the process for you?
Well, there are two things that come to mind. One is I memorized the words very thoroughly, so there's no ambivalence about what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that involves is hours of memorization, during which time an invisible thought process takes place, because I not only am memorizing the words, I'm comprehending what they mean.
Mm.
I'm subliminally imagining the setting. I'm subliminally imagining the intention of the actor, of the character in that particular situation. So there's a lot of unconscious work going on while I'm doing the simplistic drilling of words.
Mm.
Another thing that is happening is, because I'm about to shoot or perform this character, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm painting a painting, I'm thinking, I don't have to force myself. I am thinking, I am touching base with that character in a very relaxed fashion, not a contrived fashion, a relaxed fashion, where my mind is doing its work without trying. Um, the third ingredient is experience.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. That can get in the way. I enjoy what I do. And what that means is, when I show up for work, I'm totally on top of the material. I have touched bases with the flavor of the scene. I have touched bases with what the character wants in a very relaxed fashion, not gripped, not willful, not I got to do it. There's nothing like that going on anymore. In my youth, that was very much a part of how I operated, because there was a certain degree of desperation. I got to do it, because I wanted so much to not have to work for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I wanted to play for the rest of my life. And that's what acting is. It's play. It's play in the emotional sandbox of your character. It's fun. It also requires sensitivity, vulnerability, fragility, depending upon the character you're playing. But the ingredient, I think, that makes it so enjoyable today is that I am trying but I feel I'm trying in the right way. I'm allowing my being to touch the character, to absorb the character, to I give recognition to my natural intelligence as opposed to trying to force some kind of concept upon myself. I understand people. Why push it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Once you take the stabilizers off and just let yourself, start to coast, start to free, you kind of imbue yourself into these things.
Here's the difference. I make it up while the camera is on me, as opposed to contriving it beforehand and trying to give some contrivance that I made up before we started shooting, maybe yesterday or that morning. I don't present some memory of what I thought was right. I'm making it up now in front of the camera, now in present time, just the way we're doing as we're speaking.
Yeah.
And that is the key, to make it up now. Mind you, you have to have the resources to do that. You have to study the character. You have to know the lines. You have to have a sensibility about what's required of the character. But you got to leave all that alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then show up for work and let stimuli leave their imprint upon you. And see what happens, as opposed to knowing beforehand what happens. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's like a conversation, right? I think if you come in with set questions, you're like, "Hello, Ray. What was the name of the first cat you have?" We're then in a box, right? We're
Yes.
very confined on where we're gonna go. But if
Exactly.
you just open it up and just be free about it, you end up talking about sculptures and paintings and theater and all this rich stuff that's fascinating.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's what you see. That's how people get the best out of their stuff, right? When they're just
Yes.
free,
It's a question of being in present time.
Yes, definitely.
And feeling confident about that, as opposed to having something you did in the past that you've prepared for this moment. This interview has not been prepared for.
I mean, I scripted my part like the other day. Yeah, I'm reading lines here.
Well, I shaved and I took a shower.
It's impressive prep work there, Ray. Oh man, it's yeah, I kind of think, I enjoy talking to people like this because
Yeah.
you find out all these fascinating things, and
Oh, yes.
it's
Yeah.
like, I think you notice a difference, right? You can see sometimes these interviews, these conversations, and they're very scripted and they feel very forced.
Oh, right.
And it's like, you come away and you be like, I don't know anything new here, right? This is just all, PR talk. This is just all, hyperboil. Like, where's the interesting information? So I
Yes.
think
Yes.
the thing I always want to do is, let's just open this up, right? Let's just see where it's going to take us.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Nothing like living in the moment.
Indeed. I think it's something that definitely passes some people by. It's like I go to concerts, right? And you're enjoying the music, and then there's all these people filming it. And it's just like, but you're not experiencing it now.
Yes.
Right? When you
Yes.
get home, yes, you can watch a video, but the video is not going to be the same as the energy in the room right now. And so
Exactly.
people
Yes.
are getting so used to doing that, right? So you need to, yeah, disconnect and just be in the now, right?
Yes. Yes. Precisely.
Man, it's fun as hell.
I'm in my 82nd year.
Oh man, I don't know how you do it, Ray. I wake up aching. I wake up aching, and you know, you've got
It's
40
cool.
years of
It's
me.
cool. It really is. It really is cool.
Right. Like no, it's impressive that you're still, yeah, turning out these these roles. You know, you're doing your thing.
Well, I probably could pass for 70. You know,
I'm the wrong person to ask, Ray. I've got bad eyesight, man. You could tell me anything, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it.
Yeah. All you got to do is mean what you say
Yes.
as an actor. You got to mean what you say.
Mm-hmm. And
You
I
know,
suppose it doesn't hurt when you've got some burlesque dancers in the project that you're working on, right?
of course. Absolutely. Yes. You know, as I said before, it beats working, and yet it's something that requires a great deal of concentration and all that. You know, it's a very curious animal. Oh, also, I think actors in the beginning of their careers, many actors, including myself, uh, were shy in the beginning and needed to find a way to gain attention from large groups of people.
Yes.
I believe that is a common phenomenon, not 100%, but I think that was true in my case.
Yeah, I think it's something that you hear. A lot of people are like, you know, in their own lives, they're shy, but when you get to act, you're someone else. So it
Yes,
frees you up to
yes,
be
it
the
protects
person that you
you.
can't be in the other aspects of life.
Exactly. There's a kind of protection there.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, which is always an interesting like concept. You know, because you think if you could do that on stage, surely in your own life you can be this huge character. But yeah, it just doesn't work like that all the time.
No.
So are you, what are you working on now, Ray? Have you got like any paintings, sculptures, like scripts?
I wish we were in my studio. I could show you my new paintings. I'm working on 2 new paintings, and I'm also writing a novel.
Uh-huh.
And um, the novel is about a boy who's suspended from school for getting into a fight over a pair of sneakers. And he goes to, his father sends him to New York to work for a realty company, and he has to do an apartment share, which he finds through Craigslist. And he shows up to the apartment, and lo and behold, his roommate is a transvestite. And he's horrified. And he's already paid the money in advance for the first month, and he
Yeah,
wants to move
yeah,
out. And long story short, the transvestite turns out to be a very kind person and very generous. And the boy begins to like her. And a relationship begins to form where he begins to accept Antoinette for being a nice person, a generous person who cooks meals for him, even bought him an outfit for his job, and certainly very kind, consistently kind.
Mm-hmm.
And Antoinette, one night, goes out and she's horribly beaten up by a bunch of homophobic redneck types. Broken jaw, broken nose, closed eyes, bodily injuries. And the boy is put into this horrible situation where he has to nurse her back to health and take care of her.
Mm.
And during that period of time, he likes her and he feels terrible about what's happened. And he sees what hate can do, how violent hatred is. And they bond and become close friends. And he goes back to his college enlightened about homophobia, racism, anti-Semitism, the lessons he learned from living with Antoinette are so valuable in terms of his understanding of life. Up to now, he was on the basketball team at his college, and his teammates used the word faggot all the time. You know, what a faggot, and faggot this, faggot that, and what are you, faggot? You know, that type of macho jock talk. And now he sees the ignorance of all of that.
Yeah.
Because of his experience. And that's what the book is about.
Man, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a great story. And it's something that I think you see a lot, right? People who are in like small towns and villages, you know, out of the big hubs, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
find that those spots aren't as diverse. So people haven't got the exposure to, you know, different minorities and genders and all of this, right?
Yes.
So they talk in a certain way, act in a certain way, but it's
Yes.
more through ignorance than real hate,
Oh, absolutely.
right? And once they start hanging with people, then it's just like, oh, we're all the
Oh,
same.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
You know, when I was growing up, my mother was gay. So I was very close with her.
Mm.
And she educated me.
When did
And
you find out? When did you kind of realize?
when I was about 17,
Okay.
you know, but she and I were always very close. She took me to movies, and we saw Marlon Brando when I was a little boy in Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront, and Montgomery Clift in I forget the name of it, with Elizabeth Taylor. And, you know, she educated me about actors. I think she actually was the first influence upon me to appreciate acting, great acting.
Mm.
A Place Under the Sun, or A Place in the Sun, the Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor. My mother took me to see that, A Place in the Sun, with Montgomery Clift, and he was so sensitive and so beautiful. You know, and Marlon Brando and all these wonderful actors. My mother introduced me to these, you know, acting.
Mm.
We talked, you know, we'd go on Saturday afternoon or Sunday early at night or something like that, you know. It was, she's the one who introduced me. She also brought me to art museums in New York City. I grew up in Long Island. She took me to the Museum of Modern Art. And, you know, and it was a regular thing. It wasn't just once in a while. So the point that I'm making, and she was also a published writer. She wrote short stories and she was a painter. So, and I introduced her to acting when she was 61, but she introduced me to great actors when I was 12.
Yes.
So we influenced each other throughout our lives. And I told you, you know, I directed her in 3 plays, and then I got her an agent and all that, you know. Here I am segueing back to the subject of my mother, but she was a very important figure, you know. And mind you, I didn't grow up to be a mama's boy or anything like that. You know, I was a football player. I ran track. I was a New York State high jumping champion.
Nice.
I ran the sprints. You know, I was a jock. I was an athlete, you know. Whatever, you know. But my mother's consciousness, her appreciation for poetry and painting and theater and acting, and it was prevalent in my boyhood when I was growing up. And it left its imprint in my adult years because I chose to be a friggin' actor and a painter and a writer, you know. I took after her, you know.
Yeah, we're sponges that in those early years, right? So anything that you can soak up, anything that you see and witness and experience, it all will, you know, inevitably leave a footprint on you.
Yeah. You know, I had the good fortune of having that kind of a mother, you know. My father, you know, he was limited by the culture in which he grew up, where every man had to be macho and all that bullshit, you know. And you go to work and it doesn't matter what kind of job, just work.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, you know. And also the friggin' drinking, holy Christ, what a waste, you know.
Yeah.
No, I guess when you live that stupidly, you have to drink.
Well, it's funny because like you watch those old adverts, right? And it's like, you know, people drinking and smoking, and it's be like, hey, just, you know, go out and do your job. And, you know, it's all this, the narratives that were pushed out back in the day. It's kind of, it's crazy. And you just think, well, it makes sense some people were the way they were, because if this is the thing that you're seeing over and over again.
Exactly. Most people are not inspired by life. By life. They're not inspired. It's boring and it's sad. And people are ready to cash it in by the time they're 65 or 70. You know, it's like, I've had enough. It's boring. It's repetitious. There's no more future or some bullshit, particularly when their sex life disappears, as mine has. You know, all that goes away, you know.
Does it go away, Ray, or is there just that fear of kind of like we're paying too much money on these kids as we have? We can't have another one. Let's just, you know, play safe.
Oh, no, it goes away.
Don't say that, Ray.
It does. I think the other, the fear of having another kid, my God forbid. You know, I think that's part of it too. But I sure as hell don't want to, you know, I don't have that in me anymore, whatever. And it's more comfortable, it's more relaxed. You know, I'm not on the prowl. You know.
Well, yeah, these things evolve though, right? Like,
Say what?
these things evolve, you know, like relationships, they change.
Oh,
And
yes.
because, you know, when people talk about the, yeah, when, you know, they meet someone and be like, I'm so in love, and it'd be like, well, you're not, you lust for this person, and after a few months and so that changes, and
Yeah,
you know, it can develop into something else and then something
yeah,
else, and you see that. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming, like, you know, you get to a point where it's really not about the sex, you know, it's about all these other great connections that you formed with someone.
What you're talking about is very profound, and I do believe it takes time to get to that point, but it does get to that point if you're with each other for a long enough time. As I mentioned before, I've had the privilege of being with the same woman for 31 years, and we've gone through um, uh, the carnal. We have 3 kids among ourselves. I have 1 from my first wife, so I have 4 kids. But we've gone through an evolution, and now we just know we love each other and we support each other. And we're going to live this thing out. We're going to proceed, backing each other up, supporting each other. Wow, that's huge to have somebody in back of you who's actually trying to support you. You know, it's like a new discovery for me, because I've always been used to kind of hauling ass myself, and to have somebody helping me, give me a break. That's like a whole new discovery, you know?
Oh, definitely. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what love, you know, permanent love is all about, man. And wow, you know, gosh, that's what you do with your kids. It's unequivocal. You support your kids 100%, because it's physiological. It's you can't argue with that. There's no, it's nature to help your kids, to nurture your kids, support your kids. It's what being an animal is all about,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what I am. I'm an animal.
Well, you soon be a filthy animal, right?
I'm going to tell my director you said that. I am a filthy animal. Yes, sir. Hey, listen, man, I've had enough of this.
I know that. I have really appreciated your time, Ray. You know what I mean? This has been great. This has been such an interesting conversation. So
it has been fun, hasn't it?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So because I believe the film comes out on the 1st.
On when?
I think it comes out on the 1st of April.
Oh, okay.
You know, so yeah, this will be going up maybe next week. I forget. What's the
Well,
yeah.
I'm not gonna break my balls to see it, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I may see it. Who the fuck knows? You know, we'll see.
Oh, but yeah, no, I've appreciated your time, so thank you very much, man.
Oh, I like you, man. You're cool.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
ugly as sin, but you're cool.
You've heard it there. You've heard it here first, people. Ugly as sin. Thank you, Ray. Put that on my business card.
Well, you know, I'll tell you one thing. I haven't laughed so much in quite a long time.
Hey, well, that's what it's all about, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Right.
So, tell me your name again,
It's Kevin.
huh?
Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
Yes.
And what's your last name?
Scott.
Kevin Scott?
Mm-hmm.
That's easy to remember. I'll probably never see you again. But at least I'll remember you. Kevin Scott. So should I say goodbye, Kevin Scott?
Yeah, I guess that's the best way for us to sign off, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
All right.
I look forward to the next lot of stuff that you create, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. By that time I'll be 95. Or 85 is more likely. Yeah. Should I say goodbye, Kevin Scott?
All right, man. Oh, first, just before you go, are you on social media? Where can people kind of follow what you're doing and everything, and buy your work? What about
Oh,
your?
yeah. Let me give you my website. You ready?
Yes, say it now.
Raymond J. Barry
Mm-hmm.
.org.
Okay,
Now
people.
that's my website. Now let me give you my what the heck
Facebook,
my what do they call it? Where
Instagram, Twitter.
Raymond J. Barry at yahoo.com. Email
Okay, yeah.
Raymond J. Barry at yahoo.com.
Okay, superb, people.
You want my cell phone?
Don't give it over the airways, Ray.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I didn't realize.
You can message me, man, and I'll hit you.
If you give me a message on email, I'll return the message.
All right, I'll email you, and then I'll let you know when everything goes up as well.
Oh, you know what? That website that I gave you shows not all by any means, but a lot of my painting work and stuff like that, you know.
Superb. So people can buy your stuff from the site?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Have a great
Parting is such sweet sorrow. Have a great day, man.
Hey, you too, Ray.
I enjoyed talking to you.
Splendid. That's always the key to it, right? So yeah. Thank you very much, man.
Ciao, man. Take care.
Peace.